All right. Good morning. How is everybody doing today? Hope we're all doing great. Got that SPY actually trying to come back a bit today, maybe to get the Santa rally up into the green. We might see the Santa rally go green. Who knows? Gets kind of crazy out there. When you think about the Santa, Wednesday, December 24th, I believe, was the beginning of the Santa rally. The opening price that day was $687.65. Looks like. Let's see. $687.56, technically. $687.56. Okay. Ooh. They like tested it today. That's like right where the all-time high is so far here at open. About 1 minute in. Pretty crazy revelations this weekend out of Venezuela, of course. Everybody's watching the oil companies, oil stocks. They are starting to move a little bit too. What's up, Rick? Tangy Man. Like to hear that. Says his port's up big. Jose, Zach, Outlaw, good morning. 300Z, Sharpie, Johnny, All Night Gamer, Steve, I love YouTube, Simon, Naeem Offisin. Sorry if I said that wrong. Alexander, Tangy, of course, Steven, James, good morning and happy first Monday of 2026. Yep. Very first Monday for sure. SLV on the rampage, Tangy Man says. Let's see SLV. Nice jump there by SLV up to 69.70. Yeah, very nice gap up again. Go to the daily. It's getting back towards that high. Gold and silver reacting pretty well so far to the Venezuela situation for sure. Let's go look at GC gold futures from last night. Kind of gapped up a little bit when futures opened up Sunday and rocketed. Futures open up at 6 p.m. Eastern time, if you didn't know. 1800, technically. Yeah, on the rampage, though, again. SLV really crushing it. What's up, Outlaw? D-Man. When is the all-time high coming again? Very soon. Probably. It's pretty wild how SPY reacts in this way. Note how on the way up, every time we get like these sharp pullbacks, there's usually a pretty quick recovery back to highs. That could be starting right here again. I can't believe that we might end up seeing the Santa rally go green. Now that one really blows my mind. Yeah, great news if you're invested, for sure, for sure. Can CVX go back down and fill this gap back up? You know, it could go all the way down and fill the gap. I think that would be a pretty big drop. It's definitely possible, though. I would say that today, it probably won't get there. There's also a lot of situations where you could gap up and keep going up, of course. Kind of like right here. See how CVX gapped down, but then it kept gapping and kept going lower and lower? That's something that could happen here to the upside. Kind of like over here. I'm not going to count this as a huge gap, but it was kind of starting to gap a little bit. Here's a good gap. And continuation. It never filled this gap again. Gap's going to be down to like 156 or so. Interesting. I wonder how it's going to react at 160 today. I think that that's going to be an area where it might try to slow down and bounce back. Anything can happen, though, of course. Definitely interesting to look at CVX here. I don't love to see it pulling back, of course, but I guess with the gap up, we're seeing markets correct slightly here this morning. 4.6% now, only to the upside. It was up over 10% at the peak. Granted, that's all the way at the peak, though. Buffett bought a bunch of Chevron recently. Things that make you go, I know, that is pretty crazy, isn't it, Coconut? Isn't it, Coconut? That is crazy. Recently, stocks have been going up at pre-market and open with a massive down. Going up at pre-market and open with a massive down later, I guess. Taco Bell, thanks for the comment. Oh, I hope we don't see that again today. I'd like to see the SPY hold above 686 here at least. That would be nice. Yeah, I see Jen Nay saying to go Tesla. Yeah. How awesome is RCAT been? Anybody with me on that one? Red Cat. RCAT. Let me check, Tangy Man. No. I'm not with you on RCAT, but I was with you with some sold puts, but of course we won on those. Some good old cash secure puts, as they like to say. I can't remember. I think it was like a 7 or 8 strike, one or the other, but ended up doing very well. The Pentagon Pizza Index spiking. What the hell is that, Brain? Let me know what that is. What's Fly up to? Remember they make these like lunar rovers and landers or something? Wow, one sec, guys. Yeah, rovers and landers, it looks like. I'm pulling it up here a little bit. Let's see. Aerospace, of course. Yeah, like rockets, landers, satellites. Pretty crazy. Here's one of their deals right here. Looks pretty neat. Why is the market dipping now after open? Is there any news? I mean, it's not really like that big of a dip. I mean, I wouldn't really say that, you know, we don't always have to have news for every move, right? This one doesn't seem very large to see there. But let me see, Ghost. Of course, I'll scan the news. The Mexican president says, I don't think a U.S. invasion of Mexico is something they are taking seriously. Yeah, I would say not. It says crypto stocks are rising after Bitcoin hits over a 3-week high. That's a nice one to hear. Yeah, I'm not seeing much. SPY's already almost back at the high of day, really, on this 1-minute candle, too. It's not, like I said, it's not really that good of a move. Let's see how Nvidia's doing. Maybe there's some, like, chip-specific news. I wonder if that's what you were looking at. Where's the news? There we go. Nothing too crazy. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything too nuts right now with Nvidia on the news in the background either. Interesting, though. BMNR is starting to move higher. Now, that's a stock that started to really rip last week. It's up 5% again today. I think it's one that's definitely on the radar again here. This stock is 100% in play for me. I like SMR and Oklo as well. They are starting to really rip back. Very interesting price action here. Navitas, maybe. Oh, yeah. NVTS. 8.85. That's what we want. How's old Rigetti? Mom's Spaghetti. Rigetti Computing. 3% plus. Pretty funny name to this one. Like the way it's bouncing and holding support. Very good hold of that support range. I know we were looking at this one a lot last week. Go to SMR on the daily. SMR started to fall under the trend line. Now today, it's moving back through it. Back up. Could be at a point where it starts to rip back up here. Of course, a lot of growth stocks are starting to move. I'm not saying it's going to get all the way back up to highs or anything, but maybe towards that recent resistance zone around like 2275 to 2350, somewhere in that range or so. 2275, that would be a nice pop from where we are now, another $4 or so. Let's keep it going though, Rigetti. How are the banks today? Whoa. BOA, B of A, Bank of America, all the way up again. That is a huge move at open for them. And it's all pretty much from open. Damn. JP Morgan, same deal. Huge candle from open, broke through Friday's highs and extending out very well. How's TLT today? Pretty stagnant. Look at the daily of TLT because it keeps falling down in the shorter term. Looking at US 20Y, kind of looking at those bond yields, US 20Y has been coming up. We do see that turn over a bit more. That would help TLT. We'd really need to see rates, or yields, I should say, drop quite a bit. Be nice to see those mortgage rates drop, but then again, then buying will be a frenzy and people will be going nuts for houses. So, I don't know. Make of it as you'd like, I guess. Oh, God. I don't remember this stuff, Tangy. Oh, the pizza deliveries. Yeah, okay. I have seen that, actually. Now I remember you telling me that. Surges in pizza delivery places around D.C. and Virginia. That is funny. I guess because, like, they all are ordering pizza while they're working. That is very funny. I remember you telling me that before, now that you say it, but I didn't remember it before. Oh my God. Now you guys are getting into weird stuff. All right, we won't be mentioning much more of that. You had me searching up the ticker for a second, Johnny. Let's go see Palantir. Popping back. Palantir had a terrible day Friday. They are up 3.3% today, which you'd think is pretty good, but they're looking terrible, actually. Pretty big drop. Definitely not what you'd want on Friday if you're a long-term shareholder, but it created some good intraday opportunities down. Don't get me wrong there. Palantir did come back a bit today, though. Nano nuclear energy. We looked at this one to the downside a ton last week. Came back on Friday, started popping again today at open anyways. Nice move. Coinbase up with Bitcoin starting to run. Crypto's doing well. Let's go look at Bitcoin. I know a lot of you guys like to look at crypto, and Bitcoin did really well last night. This morning it broke last night's high too, up to 93,500. So good recovery. Starting to mount at least. Looks like big resistance on the chart around this range of 94 to 95,000. What's a good buy point for Palantir, Outlaw says? Oof. That one's tough, Outlaw. It's very tough to say with Palantir because they have so much hype and they've had so much hype that it could keep going. I think that they're personally overextended by quite a bit. I think I would like them more in like the $100 to $80 range, if I was being honest. But again, that doesn't mean that it's correct, right? Because what happens is a lot of people are really still banking on them, getting more contracts and more in with the government, things like that. And we'll have to see if they can continue with that hype or not. They say that Palantir is one of the most overvalued stocks in history, or at least pretty insane for one of the larger ones out there. Tangyman's up 18% on SMR shares that they bought last week. Hey, there you go. You picked a good time as it was down pretty low. I was getting worried as that trend line broke, it could go down a lot more. It fell down quite a bit, but popping back now as of Friday and today, right through 14%. He said now it's 20%. That's awesome, Tangy Man. That was quick. That was quick. Nike's dropping off. Is oil dropping after open? XLE ETF is going down weird. The oil stocks have been dropping quite a bit. Yeah. Oil has too. XLE has anyways. CL, crude oil itself has not actually. Crude oil has been moving up. But again, crude oil and crude oil stocks are two different things. So oil itself is moving up, but oil stocks have been falling. Zom's actually about to fill the gap. So whoever said that we might fill the gap earlier, I think you might be right. Well, I know you were talking about CVX specifically, which is pretty far away still, but damn, I mean, we're seeing some pretty big pullbacks starting to take hold on these intraday oil stocks. 160 is coming up on CVX, where I thought we might see an intraday bounce, so we'll see, or if it just flushes. God damn, though, Oxy, look at that drop. 2.9%, 43.40. Crazy resistance overhead. That was a big resistance. I've had it marked from a couple days ago, and we go to like an hourly chart. It lines up very well as resistance here on the chart, and of course, Oxy, damn. What a pullback. MNTS up 1,275% in a month. Momentous Inc. Nice. Momentous. 70% on the day. Never heard of this one. And I see why. For a second, I thought it was going to be like Monster Energy drink. MNST. It's wild whenever you look at the stats, how well MNST has performed over the years. It's pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. It's done better than a lot of stocks out there. Demir missed out on the Tesla run. Big sad. Yeah, Tessie up over 3% today. Surprised more people weren't talking about that in the chat, because, of course, we have those Tesla statistics here. Let me grab it really quick. But Tesla's never fallen more than 7 days in a row before, and we were on number 8. Here it is. Yeah, that was quick. Tesla had 7 down days in a row. We were actually heading into number 8, which has never happened. You can see the 1 day later category there. It's been green 100% of the time. I found that stat to be pretty cool. Four days later is what I'm playing. Down, down, down. Yeah. That, for some reason, that is weird. 4 days later. Tesla 454. Because, baby, we are down, down, down. I know that song. I forgot who sings it, but I have it in my playlist, that's for sure. Jay Sean. I don't know nothing about that guy, so don't hate the messenger there. 620 resistance, QQQ. Starting to reject a little bit. All right. Yeah, QQQ hit resistance this morning. Has been pretty slow and choppy. Kind of stuck in the chop zone here. Let's do a little drawing here. Have some fun. All right, there's some drawing for us. Okay. Tesla's China sales could be in trouble. I hope not. I'm sure it could be, though. Made me broke. Even now I'm up a few. Damn, Tangy Man's killing it out here. Everything's a winner. Love it, Tangy. Dubs in the chat. Fangy Man's kicking the new year off right. KGC shares. Ken Ross Gold. About to make a new high again. Damn, Tangy. Yeah, you know, GLD made a good comeback today, guys. For those of you that just now joined up or missed it from earlier, gold and silver are moving with this Venezuela situation in a pretty positive way. SPY is too, though, so that's okay. Gold and silver don't always have to inverse SPY. You know, gold and silver ripped a ton this year, and SPY had made new all-time highs. Now, granted, they might have done a lot better than SPY, but you get the point. They kind of went up together still at the end of the day. Let's see GLD's correlation to SPY, actually. It's pretty good. 0.78. That's pretty solid. Silver's is 0.8. Tesla's, for example, is 0.84. Apple's is lower than gold and silver's right now. Apple is at 0.8. Actually, it must have popped back. It was a lot lower a little while ago, but... Well, Microsoft, maybe. 0.83. Google... 0.89. That one's even better. Meta's really ripping it today. Ooh, Meta's only 0.6. Maybe that was the one I was thinking of. I knew one of them was a lot lower. Must have been Meta. But yeah, Meta is coming back well today, though. 1.6%. Pretty straight up. Look at our Mag 7 setup, which we haven't checked out yet today. Overall, pretty positive out there. Nvidia is one of the sad moves from open. But SPY's held up. A lot of chop, though. SPY looks like a Galaga spaceship right now. You guys ever play that game, Galaga? Or it looks like an X-Wing fighter or something. Let's go look at it on the 1 minute. Screw that, Demure. Costco. Still going? Is that because I went there? Yes, it is. 878. I told him that the stock would go up. I actually went there and bought like a $200 cut of ribeye steaks a little while ago. It came in like this huge thing, and then I cut them up myself. That day I learned I need a new knife. And a knife sharpener. I've never cut huge steaks like that, and I learned my lesson. The last Meta AI chief screwed them over. Now they're scrambling to catch up. The Meta AI chief. I know they spent a lot of time and effort on the metaverse, which I don't think people are quite ready for here. The metaverse is a decent idea, but at the end of the day, it's just a game, right? I mean, it's all just a virtual world and all that. I mean, I don't really get it. I mean, RuneScape's a virtual world too, but I don't know. Is it the metaverse? Stuff's silly. Yeah, it is a huge fail. How's Roblox doing? Oh. I know Roblox had been getting in a lot of trouble with the parents and, you know, the safety problems and all that stuff. Man, some of that stuff is kind of gross. Just, you know, stuff you don't want to talk about, really. You still remember the old trailers of Roblox. That's pretty funny. I checked it out a couple years ago or a few years ago whenever the stock started getting popular. Literally just to see what it was. And obviously, for somebody older, I think it's a no-go. It was weird. Wasn't for me, but who knows? I'd rather have him play CS2. He says that my nephew plays Roblox. I'm pretty worried about it. Oh, no. Yeah, have him play Counter-Strike or Gary's mod or something. I don't know how old he is, but you know what's funny, Brain? The very first game that I ever played on the computer, besides like RuneScape, is Counter-Strike Source. And I think I was like 8 years old. Funny enough. Palantir bouncing off at 166. Haha. Arubuto knows. Fellow man of culture. Yep. He's 10. Oh, yeah. Yep. I can't believe my 10-year-old nephew goes insane for video games. It's crazy. He plays Fortnite and all that stuff. Race kind of slow again today. Let's check on Ford, GM, Stellantis. Ford starting to move a little bit. General Motors, not much. STLA dipping down, actually, 1.14%. They did well at the end of last week, but back to the banks, which were on fire today. Bank of America now up 2%. JP Morgan, wow, all the way up to 335, almost 3% on the day, actually. Dang, these banks are moving. SurgeBot even hit on JP Morgan a while ago. How about the cruise lines and the airlines? CCL, RCL. CCL looks good. RCL, not the best. NCLH, pretty decent intraday. Yeah, coming back. How about the airlines? AAL, pretty decent. Up to $16, up 2.8%. Nice. Delta, oh yeah, straight up as well. 4.7% there. Southwest, okay. 2.78. What's JetBlue? JBLU? Yep, I thought so. 2.6%. I didn't realize JetBlue was trading for $4. Duke Nukem 3D. I've heard of that. Let's see. Oh gosh. I must have heard of a newer one than that. But I have heard of that too. Jeez. It was a game to play on MS-DOS in 1996. When did RuneScape Classic come out? RuneScape Classic was 2001. Okay. It predates Windows. Yeah, that's insane. Outcast, first open world game in 1999. Man, you guys are really into those Dooms and Quakes. And speaking of games, how's EA? Let's check on some of these gaming companies, I guess, while we're talking about it. Oh yeah, I forgot. EA had that deal. Who did they get bought by again? Was it Oh, or did they go private? I think that's what it might have been. I think they just went private. See, that was like September 26th. Oh, takeover by Saudi PIF. Oh, wow. They did go private, though, it says. Angie says, does that mean they're going to stop destroying franchises? That is actually pretty funny. Mason says EA Sports. It's in the game.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
There you go. I actually have a sound button for that. I don't play it a lot, but... See you later, Demure. It looks like I'll almost never get to play it now that it went private. All right, Take-Two Interactive is the other interesting gaming brand that I like to look at. A lot of people like to look at Nintendo as well. I, for the life of me, though, cannot remember Nintendo's ticker. It's very weird. Here we go. NTDOF or NTDOY? I believe it's one of them. NDTOF. NTDOY. It's been a long time since I've looked at this. How much volume? 1.87 million. Here. Oh, 6,000. I think it's, yeah, NTDOY. Much more volume. GTA 6 is November. If they delay it again, they'll lose all credibility. What? I think that they've already lost a lot. I really think, and you know, we've said this here for a while, I really think that they're gonna end up doing it where you essentially are gonna have the new consoles out right whenever GTA 6 releases. That's what I kind of think. Maybe they'll defy me, but man, I hope that they're not forced to do it, then it's bad. I hope it actually, like, seems a lot better. I know, it seems like every couple years there's a good new one now. What's the big one now? The PS5 Pro? Spy is doing pretty good. It's chopping around the high today. It's not falling. It's holding up well, at least. It's not up a ton or anything, but it is trying to move. Xbox X and PS5. I kind of hope they make a new console because I'm already like 5 years behind. Xbox, PS, and Apple have to delay their releases. NTDOF is the main one. NTDOY is like a stock split or something. Gotcha, Aioli. Yeah, I haven't looked at Nintendo in forever. That makes sense with the amount of volume, too. I believe. Wait. Oh, no, this one was the lower volume one. Hang on. Let me do something really quick. You know, this doesn't make it fully right. But it's saying that NTDOY is the general better choice by Grok and ChatGPT. It says the low volume often outweighs the benefits for typical trading with that. That's kind of what I thought. It seems strange, but it didn't look terrible. It asked how good the stream was. Well, I appreciate that, Coconut. That's funny that they're asking. QQQ's looking good here. 619.50. We started breaking out of this little consolidation and wedge that we saw. Amazon's trying to break the 233 line, Taco Bell says. I swear, you always got me thinking of Mike Tyson. Is that why you did that? I don't know if we've talked about that before, but I always think about that when I see your name. Every time. QUBT is awake finally. Tansy Man says, I do believe Sound is about to break out. Sound Hound. It just popped 11 and is doing its best to move up. Yeah, right around that high of the morning. There we go, Soundhound. Yeah, like $11.10 or so. Moving pretty well. I like that volume that came through on the last 1 minute candle. It's getting close to resistance. Looks pretty bullish though. It could easily run up, make a new high of the day. Let's see that daily chart. Daily chart looks really good coming up off of lows. They're up right around their average percent pop here. Nike's printing, Aoli said. NKE up to 65. Daily chart filling the gap almost. Like 65.50. Yeah, doing very well again, 2.75%. We can't forget, news came out that Tim Cook bought this. Like it though, Aoli. Nike, one of my favorites in the short term. Just triple checking that there's no news there. I don't think so though. Nope. That was fun though with all the insider buying and Tim Cook buying in. Definitely was nice. Hey, Steve posts up some good profits in the profits channel today. Decent little start to the week. Ah, what's up, Steve? Steve Madden.
Steve Madden. Steve.
I don't know if you guys could even hear that, but VT says, why are the banks ripping today? I know that they are really on fire, aren't they? BAC 57.44 now, like breaking out massively on the daily chart. JP Morgan, same deal, new all-time highs. Sheesh. It's pretty nice to see though, wouldn't we say? It's because Maduro wore that Nike tech. Oh my god. I can't believe people were actually talking about that. I'm trying to find some news on these banks here, but I'm not seeing much this morning. JP Morgan launches special advisory services to provide expertise to key clients. I wonder how much money they think that you need to have to Like, what counts as a key client for this, I wonder. Very interesting. I don't think that that's a reason why they're really moving that much, though. Wait, what the? Hang on. There we go. Wells Fargo adjusts PT on JP Morgan to 360 from 350. That sounds nice. Barclays raises their price target to 391 from 342. Okay. Wow. Yeah, they got some price target adjustments. Wells Fargo, Barclays, anyone else? It looks like that's it today, but damn, pretty good news for JP Morgan anyways. Any big thing for Bank of America? Maybe they're going to do good with this Venezuela stuff. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Barclays raises the target to 71 on Bank of America. Wells Fargo went to 65 from 62. All right. All right. Looks pretty nice for the banks right now. Banks are probably still liking the high interest rate environment. Maybe they're enjoying that outlook for pausing at the next meeting. But, alrighty, guys. I know it's a bit early today, but I do have to run. I hope that everybody has a fantastic rest of their day. Let's go. Let's crush it out there. I hope we all have a great Monday. If you need anything, definitely let me know in the Discord, of course. But I hope you guys have a great rest of the day. I will talk to you later. See ya.